Aloha, namaste. Songbird here again with you on another day. Help you remain clear and centered in the way. Trying to keep the backlight out. Okay, welcome. If it's your first time, aloha, welcome. If you're a returner, thank you. I appreciate that. Um, and we're going to have a nice talk today. And the subject is going to be revealed in a moment. I have one quick piece to share with you. This is out of my last journal. It's called Castaway Need number 369. I don't need to smoke to get high, and I don't need to drink a drink to unwind, because I've learned to calm the mind with truth. That genuine smile on my face now is the living proof. I don't need a companion's hand. I don't even need my toes in the sand. All I need, all I desire, is to experience the inner fire. Yes, that's true. The loving flame burns right through the fear and pain. When I choose to listen in silence, the way truly comes clear. Yes, when I choose to simply let it be, perfect love casts out all fear. Wrote that one before I left Arcata when I was really going through it. Cancer. Okay, guys. Today we're going to talk about the pain body, and I'm going to actually share some things with you that I haven't really shared with others. So that term, the pain body, is an Eckhart Tolle term. He's a great teacher. Which is really like what the ego does. And, you know, when I was younger, I was an eco warrior for years and years, and I was battling the corporations, Monkey Wrench Gang, doing whatever you could, Earth First, Greenpeace, it's so many things. And, we think we're righteous. It is right to serve the earth in the right way, but being humble and not being righteous about it. Like, what? It's still a dream. You're making it a better dream for people, more heavenly instead of hellish. But it's not the truth. It's a representation of it because it's a suggestion about it, and the truth gives rise to that suggestion. So yeah, it's a pathway to truth. And there's a lot of great organizations really trying to help, but that word organization is the death knell to the spirit. I don't care if it's religion, labor unions, whatever it is. You have to be very careful because absolute power corrupts absolutely, and organization gives people power that may not deserve it. That's the thing about religion. The most organized religions started with a beautiful master, male or female, with divine experience and miracles and witnesses, and it gets organized and then it disappears. And there's a great Buddhist story about that. There once was an old master lama, a Rinpoche, and he was teaching the other lamas outside on a beautiful day at a podium. And in the middle of the teaching, a black cat came up, and it doesn't matter that it was black, but it's black in the story. The black cat came up and started, rubbing on, nuzzling on his legs and walking around the podium, and was becoming a distraction. So in the middle of his discourse, he halted. He took a little peg, he tapped it into the ground, he took a little string. I think he even used his mala, his beads, and he hooked the cat to the tether so it would just sit and relax. Well, he soon thereafter passed. He went through the transition, changed his clothes, took off his costume, so to speak. And after he passed, the teaching became tethering the cat. Now, if you caught what I just said, that's organized religion. Ain't going to help you. It's got an agenda and it's not serving you. And a lot of people just get advanced in these religions and they have zero realization. You shall know them by their fruits. If they don't have a genuine smile on their face like most of the time, or can't recover it quickly, good or bad situation, circumstance, they don't know what they're talking about. Most of those people that think they're teaching a doctrine, it's their own. It's the ego. So let's get back to the pain body, because see, that's what the churches do. They want to keep you in your pain body. They want to make you identify with a separate self. And especially Catholicism, you fell from grace, original sin. No, 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 no. That is a false teaching. In its absolute nature, the original sin, the fall from grace, which can't really happen in actuality, is the belief in two powers, the belief that you're a person, a story, male or female, all that. That's the fall. The belief in the veil is the veil. The belief in the humanness is the human. Come on. You don't have to deny it. You can just use your vehicles to rise. Rise. You know, there's a great old saying about religion is trying to keep you from going to hell, but spirituality has already been there. That's true. I'm trying to give you a little more light on my face because it's a lot of light. It's super hot outside, and I had to turn off the air conditioner to do this. So, see, I'm sacrificing for you. Okay, now I'm going to tell you a story, and I think this story is going to assist. Okay. This just occurred to me last night. I was like, I should make a new video, but only when things come to me. Now, remember that this story, this body, this whole thing is like a Halloween costume. And it's funny that Halloween's becoming the most popular holiday. Yeah, because everyone's wearing costumes, and that's all they want to do is hide behind a costume. You learn a lot about a person by their costume, especially all the tramps that dress up. But I'm not here to judge. That's your choice. I did it too. I'm just like you. And that's the thing. See, I'm not above you or below you. I'm exactly the same. I'm literally speaking to myself. I is we. So I've mentioned before that I went through extreme abuse as a child, and so did my little sister. And I used to have a teddy bear collection. It started with a Steiff, the German teddy bears that are so valuable when I was a little boy. Someone stole that, but then I kept getting all these other teddy bears. And my nickname was Airsy Bearsy with my mom. And I had a couple other stuffed animals. I had Tigger and, a couple different, but really I had like a dozen teddy bears. And when I was in about 5th grade, I devised a way to help myself. Did it stop? No, it didn't stop. And that was, okay, so I would go through these really unwanted experiences that were very painful, physically, mentally, emotionally. And the sexual abuse didn't come from my mother. That was a man, a different person. But so my room was next door to my mom's room, and she would come in my bedroom every morning. She was a smother mother, and she'd get right on top of me and smother me and trap me in my sheets and tell me all these lies, trying to be nice because she felt so guilty about what she'd done before. And she was extremely violent, not only with us, but with other people. She was gnarly. And so what I would do at night, I taught myself some techniques on my own. Must have come out of my past life being on the path for so many lifetimes. And what I would do is, it's kind of like the angel and the devil on your shoulder. I would line up all my teddy bears and stuffed animals next to me. On one side would be the negative counsel. On the other side would be the positive counsel. And then I would have a conversation in my mind, and each one of them had an independent voice. And they would reason with me. They would argue with me because I wanted to stop the abuse, and I was even willing to kill to do it. And I was extremely advanced at a young age, so I had this ability to turn within and allow my mind to show me things. And so I would listen sincerely, and I would talk with them and argue with them. And there were a couple times where the bad won out, but I woke up in the morning feeling, it was okay. And for the most part, the good counsel, 85% of the time, would win me over. The still small voice, the voice for the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of wholeness. And I had a hard time sleeping because I was afraid I would get woken up out of my sleep by being violated, violently. She did that a lot. You'd be comfortably asleep and you'd get hit in the face as hard as she could. I mean, that's how you would wake up. And I had a lot of that. So I taught myself, instead of having an alarm clock, I had this cool alarm clock, this Sony, and you could set the alarm really easily with it. It was one of the early digital clocks. But instead, I didn't want the alarm to let my mom know I was awake because she could hear it in the next room. So what I would do is I would close my eyes and I would watch an analog clock, and whatever time it was, say it was 8:30, I would start at 8:30 and I would watch the hands wind around in my mind until the time I wanted to get up. And it worked the first time and it's never stopped. I haven't had a watch all my life. I never use an alarm clock. I don't need a watch. I always know what time it is. Daylight savings screws you up a little bit for a week or two, but I'm never late for things. I always wake up at least 15 minutes before the alarm would have gone off, and it works. Now, another thing I taught myself was the way you fall asleep, the way you stop your mind from wandering, and this will help with meditation as well, is you picture the color black, pure black, nothing in it. Because if you think of white, things will appear. Things will appear in black too, but it's harder. And you just fall into that full saturation. You just let go, and it makes thoughts calm down enough that you can get into the right brainwave set and you can fall asleep. So that combined with my little alarm clock trick really helped, and my council of teddy bears. I don't have that collection anymore. When I was laying off Eric, I eventually got rid of them, gave them to my sister. But yeah, so those are a couple tricks. Now, let's talk about the pain body a little bit. Do you see injustice in the world? Sure. Do you see it snowballing? Yes. Am I upset about Hawaii? Absolutely. But walking around and yelling and screaming, look, there's a time truth must be spoken to the lie always, and sometimes very forcefully. You know, in Buddhist terms, they say skillful means, and part of a skillful means, which is the way you deal with things, are wrathful means. Guru Rinpoche, the lotus-born master, Padmasambhava, he converted all the demons in Tibet into servants of the Dharma. Those are wrathful means. What you're really doing, it's like loving someone who's being evil. Pray for your enemies, bless those that curse you, pray for those that despitefully use you. It's in the Bible. It's all based in the golden rule, which is the truth. Okay, so the pain body will dominate. And you can see it in the world. You know who's a perfect example of someone who the pain body dominates? Amy Goodman on her radio show. What do you call it? Democracy Now! She's always in her pain body, thinking she's doing good by sharing all these horrible things, and then nothing gets fixed. It's just like a constant barrage of shit. Pardon my vulgarity. On top of the ocean, isn't adding to it, isn't helping. And yes, you will be inspired to do things from the right place, from your heart. If you really want to make a difference, you got to deal with your own self first. And we all fall into our pain body. Like if you get mad at somebody, pain body. If you're sad, pain body. If you're disturbed, pain body. If you're confused, pain body. Why? Because the already isness is already there, offering you, it's knocking at the door of your awareness. I stand at the door and knock. That I am, that still small voice for the Christ, for the Buddha nature, the ultimate of the mind, which is not the ultimate. Awareness is beyond that, but it's the ultimate of the mind, can color the canvas of your day, of your life. Make it a masterpiece, not a broken painting with holes in it. You know what I mean? Like, you shall know them by the way they deal. If it's good or bad, those are two sides of the same coin. How you deal, how quickly you get back on the horse, you know? Sin, that's another thing. That's just an archery term. It means to make a mistake, to miss the mark, not perfect. That's why forgiveness is so powerful and is so taught. All the true religious traditions, in their mystical side as well as in their practical moral side, teach the same thing: compassion, empathy, but not pain body empathy. Yes, I understand your pain because I know pain. That's the right kind of empathy. Recognizing the pain body, but not letting it run your life. I have people constantly, sending me emails about, oh, Maui, the fires here, oh, the starving in Africa. Yes, that's true. But if you're asking me, I'm going to give you the way I deal with it. And then you get mad at me for telling you the truth. You don't want to hear it, don't ask. And that's what I'm saying to people. Like, I've said this before. If you're on my channel, and I resonate with you, it's because you have experience spiritually, and you know what I'm saying is true. You recognize the wisdom that came from my suffering and pain. But you don't see me dwelling there now, and if you knew how much of a struggle I face every day, you wouldn't believe I'm so happy. And it's genuine. It's a why dwell, and not that I don't see emotions constantly and have very deep. I watched a thing about ancient Hawaii today, and yes, I cried the whole time. I read a thing about Calvin and Hobbes, made me cry. It's like there's nothing wrong with that, but it's where you dwell. That's where your heaven is. That's where your treasure is. Is your treasure in always being upset? Well, you can't heal. You're going to kill yourself. Raise your blood pressure. Silly, silly, silly. It's just silly. And, people thinking their identity is, you know, I don't want to criticize and get upset a lot of people, but like the whole gender thing and the starseed thing, and whether there's a germ in there of truth or not, it's just ridiculous. Our world is so preoccupied with nonsense when the real issues that are going on that can be changed, the powers that be, absolute power corrupts absolutely, and the powers that be don't want to lose their bottom line. Look at the actors strike right now. It hasn't been since 1960. The whole industry's changed. The studios are rich and they're claiming poverty. Who's telling the truth, right? And that's just one example. There's so many, yeah, what's going on Maui, especially in Lahaina, or what's going on right now in America. See, they're hiding things from you. We're so enslaved. We're one of the most enslaved countries in the world, just like China and just like Russia. Don't think it's different here. It's not. And if you're a true patriot, you're not a true believer. And I want to go on that subject because this is really important. If you look back at the major wars and the major suffering in the world, it's true believers that cause it. So I don't care if you're a true believer in politics, a true believer in gender identity, a true believer in education, a true believer in unions, a true believer in shopping, a true believer in YouTube, whatever it is, that means your ears are closed, your heart is closed. Look at the people who followed Hitler, followed Mussolini, followed Franco. They're just like the Trump followers. He can't do any wrong. They can't even see what's actually there. Now, I'm not saying the other side's that much better, but they're a little bit less immoral. And our system is a two-headed snake. It doesn't represent you. It couldn't live in the wild. They keep it alive by coddling it in a pet store, and it shares the same body and it can't work together. It's ridiculous. Nothing's gotten done in this country for years and years and years. We've never had a good president. Carter became a good man later. We've never had a good one. Don't argue with me about it. It's just not true, because the real statesmen, the stateswomen, statespeople, they get lost because they're not sellouts. They get lost in the mix. Like right now, whatever you think about her, Marianne Williamson is running again. She's a great platform. Will people listen? No. We have all these old white men. Give me a break. They don't represent the world. They represent the slave masters, the Illuminati bank that owns your soul in America and most of the world, Europe too. And they have a Marxist agenda to take God and spirituality completely out of your life. And that's what's coming. Full surveillance. All that stuff. Now, that's pain body. But it doesn't mean you can't recognize it and be... It's a quantum universe. Your mind's a quantum holographic projector. You can be, a free radical, an adaptogen, right? An imaginal cell. Those are the things you want to be. If you don't know what those are, look them up. I'm not here to do all your work for you. And that's the other thing. All healings are instantaneous, but sometimes it takes a while. And if you call me and I'm helping you and I'm praying with you, know that it's working, and stop looking outside for the results. You're not going in for the loaves and fishes. Jesus does this beautiful demonstration of multiplying the loaves and fishes. That's mystical math. It's only multiplication. There's no addition to perfection, no subtraction from perfection, no dividing perfection. There's only multiplication, extension. And the next day they come to him and, oh, we're hungry. And he says, I showed you yesterday. What? Silly people. Teach a man to fish. Give a man a fish, he eats for a day. A woman. Teach a woman, a person to fish. They can feed their family for the rest of their life. Okay, so you have to do the work. No one's going to do it for you. And there's nothing to be afraid of, especially death. Death is a blessing, but you'll be back here and have to go through it again if you don't get it right. And it is simple, but it's not easy. Why is it not easy? Pain body, ego. Okay, so I'm sharing my own very deep vulnerability here, my very deep, uh, suffering that I incurred, so you can understand. My mom was so stuck in her pain body, she subconsciously was trying to kill me from a very young age. At 2 years old, she sat me on top of a huge fence. My godmother said, "Whoa, what are you doing?" She turned around, walked away. I immediately fell off the fence because my godmother said he's going to fall. I smashed my head in. I still have a scar. It almost killed me. Okay, that's just one thing. I don't want you to hate her. I've forgiven her and she's long gone. She made me who I am, so it's okay. Obviously, in another life, I probably was cruel myself. And, so honesty, self honesty, I've said it before. People ask me what that means. It means do the work. And really, someone who could help you a lot is Michael Singer. If I resonate with you, my style is like his. You will love him. He's amazing. And if you're trying to deal with the relatives that passed on and stuff, that's okay. You can communicate with them. They can help you, but really don't get tangled up in that too much. It's all about the story. They just want to guide the story. You got to go higher than that. You got to be the music that you already are. This perfect, beautiful, infinite orchestra. And the thing is you are so beautiful to me. That's an old song. You are so beautiful. Love is you and you and you and you. All of us, I as we. Are you beginning to see? Come with me. We can do it together, no matter the weather. Storm shall pass. This too shall pass. Just don't be an ass. Okay, so we make mistakes. You got to forgive yourself. All forgiveness is self forgiveness. All education is self education. All communication is self communication. And real communication is telepathic. And when you go to the other side, whether it be through an NDE, which is a quick way, through meditation, through drugs, which is a temporary way, or through accident, you will see the beauty that is I as we. You will understand I am free of free, because freedom is a concept. Do you get me yet? If I'm already free, what do I need to be free from? Being free and dumb. Dumb, ignorant. Dumb, what does that mean? Ignorant of my own divine identity, which the Holy Spirit is waiting to reveal to me. She is there. She is there. She loves you. Every human being had to be cared for when we came in. It's the same with when we go out. You have to care for others. That's what hospice is, right? And that's what the earth is. And the earth is really struggling with what we're doing to it right now. It needs hospice. It needs care, but not from the pain body, from a centered, humble, genuine place. Just like this face. Okay, so yeah, that's not ego. I'm being honest. I know myself. I know what I am. I know what my heart wants. You can get stuck in the study too. You have to remember that it has to be practical. It's like, I've said this before. So you have a teacher just preaching all these things in some religion about the taste of sugar, yet they've never tasted sugar. They don't know how sweet it is. They don't know if they want it or not. They don't know the good, bad sides of it. Someone explaining a mountain to you, or the ocean, or space. If they haven't been there, if they haven't dove in the ocean, if they haven't got to the top of the mountain, if they haven't gone into the sky, how do they know? You don't attain the experience. Attaining the unattainable. Words really can't explain it, but we use words. You are the experience. It's coming to the realization of what you already are. Do I have the experience? Well, I have a body, I have a mind, I have the experience, but I am the experience. Yet I am not a body, and I am not a mind. I am the experience. That's awareness. And that's you. And you and you and you and you and you and you. Comedy is a great thing. Laughter is great levity. Laughter is really the best medicine. And music. And gardens. I've said it before, your heart is a garden. It's also a light. It's your heart throne center is there in the middle of the Merkaba. That beautiful emerald green, flowing, magical, unpoppable, unchanging, ineffable space. And all your chakras are this way, and they're all in alignment, and they're all important. But don't get stuck in the red one. Have you ever noticed that most things are red and blue, politics and everything? Blue is the good side, red is the lowest side, blue is the highest. And I'm not siding with the political party, don't get me wrong. Those colors have meaning. And all the symbols in our life go way back to ancient times. They've just been corrupted. They've stolen the divine feminine from you. right? Yogananda was a great example of the divine feminine. Look at that man. You can see the Holy Mother right through his eyes. And in my life, it's the divine feminine that's taught me and saved me and guided me along the way. Nature, the divine feminine, right? Uh, the mystical experience, the divine feminine. Dancing, the divine feminine. Poetry, all of it. And sexuality, sacred sexuality has been lost. It's a very important part of the spiritual practice, but we don't understand. It's not who you're having sex with. I don't care if it's a donut, a dude, a, it doesn't matter. What matters is why. There are too many people on the planet. Everyone's just going around treating sex like a drug because it's pleasurable. Yeah, but that's not what it's about. Tantra, the Tao of sex, the Tantra of sex. Even the ancient Christian mysticism has holy sexuality. In fact, in Hebrew, on the Ark of the Covenant, the two cherubs are male and female on the lid, and they're making love. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Look at Padmasambhava, the woman, his Saring Shogyal, Yeshe Shogyal is sitting on him. They were consorts. Most of the Rinpoches have consorts. It's because staring into the eyes of an individual will be completely there with them, and you don't have to have the orgasm for the man. It's more for the woman. And getting beyond the emotion and getting to that pure energy flow, the Tao. Remember, you are a flow, and these things help you, like breathing. But I want to warn people, don't do pranayama if you're over 50. You can have a mental break. That's what happened to my wife. She became a full-blown paranoid delusional schizophrenic, and that's a hard thing to go through. She had the violent side of it. Because I found this in ancient Buddhist texts later. If you start to practice breath of life after breath of fire, after you're a certain age, it shatters all the protections on your chakras, and it'll cause you to fall in one of the four main mental breaks, most of which fall into paranoid delusional schizophrenia. So religion is mental illness. Spirituality is sanity. This world is insane. A Course in Miracles teaches you that right in the beginning. Nothing you see is true. It's all a trick unless you have holiness, coloring your mind, illuminating your mind. It's insanity. And why is there war? You know how we ask the questions when we're truly on the spiritual path? Who am I? Why am I here? Why is there so much destruction, death, disease, and war? Because God isn't in this world. We have to bring it. We have to give God. Let it be. Remove the obstructions. Get rid of the dam, Adam, a dam, and let it flow. Let it flow. Let it be. Then love enters the world. I is we. It's quantum. It only takes 10 righteous to save the city. Can we find them in this world of insanity? Well, it's not easy. Trust me. And, people want to attack you for saying things I'm saying. I'm not a heretic. I'm not an alien. I'm you, and I'm telling you from genuine experience. I have, fortunately, suffered so much in this life. Literally, I've said this before. If I told you my list, people want me to write a book because they can't believe I'm like this. And I also went through the family I came from, and there's a whole other story there and who my dad was. And but it doesn't matter. That story, I can use them as learning tools and as warning signs, but I don't want to fall into my pain body. I don't want to fall into the story. The story doesn't get the glory. God gets the glory. Divine music of the spheres, right? The infinite invisible one. The silence sings, the stillness dances. That's what you are. And the romances are true when the 13 virtues govern you. What are the 13 virtues? Look it up. So I really appreciate you guys. And if anyone wants to support the work I'm doing, I leave links down in the description. I ain't going to beg or nothing, but I know if it resonates with you, there's a lot of people who can support my walk. I live by grace, day by day. That's it. Stay in the moment. And that's another thing too. When you're doing your work, the past and the future are just thoughts. They're concepts. You got to let go of them in order to experience now. It's always now. It will always be now. That's the how and the why. It's not a lie. Re-identify, right? With the music, not the story. And not music like you think about one song. Music like infinite variations on the eternal theme of perfection. Love is so loving, it shares with us wherever it can meet us, and it always shows us infinity and wholeness, peace and grace, forgiveness, and the original face, which is formlessness. It's not scary, it's beautiful. You don't lose anything. You just lighten the load. Cast thy burden upon me, my burden is light. Why? Because he knows the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. That's my whole walk. That's what these talks are about, beloved ones. And I mean that. The better you do, the better I do. I could be gone tomorrow. I make each video like it's my last one. What's the most important thing to let through today? Show me, Lord, I'm listening. I'm open, I'm aware. I'm showing that I care. My friend's coffee shop closed. What a great name, though. Regulars wanted. Yeah, I want regulars. Subscribe. Come on in. I'll make as many videos for you as I'm inspired. And you can ask questions. You can comment. You can find me on Facebook and Eric Dane Mansfield, Instagram, if you want to see pictures. Not a lot into social media, but I do try to make it more light and positive when I go there. And that's really what this is all about. You know, I use the front-facing camera so I can see you, which is pretty good. I have an amazing phone. If I was using the back cameras, I guess I could put a mirror behind it. It would be way more clear. Like on Jeff's podcast, I had to use the front-facing camera. I should have turned it around and had him guide me so it would have been more clear. Next time I will. And thank you, everyone, for the wonderful comments on his website about my interview. I was so touched. I am really, really overwhelmed by the love and the gratitude and the commonality and the camaraderie and the communion that we're all going. Just amazing. And thank you so much. I mean, it really validates what I'm doing, you know. And social media, use the tools against the powers that be. It's all we have. You know, every single revolution that's ever occurred, the underdogs had the weaponry that wasn't as superior as like Ukraine and Russia. But that spirit keeps the underdog going, and eventually they pull through. And, you know, don't be a sheeple. This world, they're programming you to be sheeple. You understand that, right? And that's what 98% of the people are, sheeple. My sheep hear my voice. I am the good shepherd. That's right. So, and that's not ego. That's the truth. So are you. Because everything I am, I give to you, and then it's given back. Giving is receiving. Knowing, not believing. If you believe in anything, you're never going to know God. If you're stuck in a church, good luck. It's the hard road. And church ladies and church men, you are farther from God than the homeless man on the street. A lot farther. And don't think you're any better. Those people that are taking on the burden of what our society has done to them, the houseless, the disenfranchised, the forgotten, the orphans, which there are so many on the streets, they're taking on your karma because everyone needs help and society's just ignoring ignorance, you know. And yeah, you could fall into a deep pool of despair if you see the world as it really is. But then once you see the underlying beauty and perfection, like when the flowers sang to me, when the angels sang to me, when the giant beast ate me. I haven't told you all the stories. God, it's just so incredibly beautiful, and the oneness and the unity is just amazing, and it's infinite. You can't really put it into words and thoughts, and yet things can take you there. The music, meditation, different things can get you out of your pain body and put you in we have several bodies, you know, 3 really main ones, and the highest one, let them all be integrated into one. That's what we're doing. So I think this is probably going to do it for today. I don't think there's much more I could say. Let's see if there's another poem coming your way. We'll open it up. Pray-Zen. Like praising, the word praising, but Pray-Zen. Okay. Listen within. Again. Pray-Zen. Stillness. Primal awareness. Listen within. Again. Pray-Zen. Flow. Naked insight. Listen within again. Pray-Zen. Love all existence here now. Listen within again. Pray-Zen. Praise him. Praise I. Praise the earth, the moon, and the sky. And don't let all this space race lie to you. No one's ever been to the moon. Not one country. Everything here is lies. I told you it's insanity. Only divine realization eliminates the calamity. Do the work. Okay, guys. I really, really, really appreciate you. And I'll be back. We'll see. If not, I is we. And you can come and I'll help you be free of free. Yeah, that's right. Okay, silly guy. Aloha.